Campbell.
And I'm Ron Jackson.
Cerebral conversations on disability liberation and integration. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cerebral Conversations, episode 18. This is Cerebral Conversations, conversations on disability liberation and integration. I'm back from the dead. It's CJ Campbell.
And I'm Ron Jackson.
Are you alive? Are you a zombie?
I might be.
I think he's a zombie. So, Ron, we had to take a break
Yes.
for a week.
Yes.
Tell me how your life has been.
Well, my life has been incomplete since I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. But other than that, it's been pretty good. I've started taking the first steps in gaining employment, which is fun.
Well, Ron, I feel like when you get your first paycheck, you should just get it all in like $1 bills and just make it rain.
I should.
Make it rain.
Or get $1 bills so I can go to work on the paratransit.
Okay, because it totally made it sound like you were gonna go to a strip club, like that.
No.
That you work at a strip club.
No, folks.
Crippled stripping.
For people who don't know, the bus fare is only $1 increments because they don't have change.
So you have to have exact change on the paratransit bus, yo.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gonna stay on the curb.
Or walk, which is not feasible.
Anything else going on new?
I've decided to shave, which some of you might be able to notice.
Which I do not approve of.
Yes, I just got told to quit shaving my beard.
Yep.
Other than that, how's your life going?
Well, I've been sick for the last 10 days. This is my first day out of bed. Still look handsome, I think. I didn't have my voice at all last Wednesday, so that's why we didn't do the show. I lost my voice for a good 4 days. I did spend some time in Pittsburgh, which those of you that watched episode 17, you saw me interview my girlfriend Alicia's grandmother, Rose King, which that is, I think, my favorite episode so far.
It was pretty amazing.
Even though you weren't in it, I felt like that interview was awesome.
I think she was a good replacement. Thank you, Mrs. King.
Yeah, well, no one can replace Ron Jackson in my heart of hearts. Other than that, I've just been laying in bed. Alicia's coming in like 8 days to Rockford.
That is
so
amazing.
You're going to meet her. She's a real person.
I'm excited.
Yep. She's a real person and I'm a real boy. So it's really good to be back on the show. I've missed doing the show. Missed hanging out with you. I miss being among the living. I've lost like 7 pounds.
People who live here were starting to get together a search party to see if you were actually dead or not.
Yeah, I was pretty sick. I mean, like I said, I lost 7 pounds and it was just, ugh. And I'm probably going to go take a nap after we do this show because I'm exhausted already. I had to do some filming for Over the Rainbow, so been just doing a lot of filming today. So, what are we talking about this week, Ron?
We are talking about mental health.
We are ending our series on health and wellness, and we're going to unveil a new series at the end of the show.
Yes.
So stay tuned, or I guess you could skip ahead on YouTube.
Whichever you like.
But if you do that, we will be disappointed.
We prefer you stay with us.
Alright, so we're talking about mental health, which I think is equally as important as physical health.
I would agree.
Now, what are your experiences with mental health? Have you struggled with maintaining mental health?
Although I haven't had a lot of trouble with this, I did experience mild depression in my teenage years because of the awkwardness of puberty and high school and everything involved with that.
Okay, so but like it wasn't ever really something that was
No, it
a
wasn't.
huge obstacle. You just kind of went through the moody teenage
It
years.
wasn't serious. I was just that was the one kind of why me phase that I've had in my life.
I, on the other hand, am in complete opposite. I've been diagnosed with manic bouts of depression and anxiety, and it started when I was about in fourth grade. During recess, I got really upset, and I just started, um, like I would like fold my arms and put my head down and just like sit in my wheelchair like a little turtle. Like a little turtle, and I would just not talk like all day. And I had my first anxiety attack around fourth or fifth grade too, and it has been a part of my life ever since. Um, I did survive a couple suicide attempts, and I have gone into counseling. In the last few years, it's been for the most part it's been pretty stable though. I've learned new coping skills and stuff like that, but it's always a challenge. Like even being sick and being in bed all day, and then just overall stresses. It was pretty hard to kind of maintain and not fall into despair during those weeks. I know that like my girlfriend has kind of had to deal with, kind of being like, listen, everything's okay. It's not so bad. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm dying. Ah. Yeah, so I
Everything
totally fall into
ever
that.
is terrible.
Um, Now, I'm sure you've noticed that mental health struggles is something that's very common among crippled brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And also, I mean, it's just more common for everyone, able-bodied brothers and sisters as well. I think I've heard stats that 1 in 4 deal with some sort of bout of mental illness.
I think it's even 1 in 3 now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with societal factors more than anything. Also, when your body is overstressed, it also tends to change the way your neurology works and changes your brain chemistry because most mental illness is believed to be caused by chemical imbalances in the brain.
Mm.
But I find that there's a lot of societal factors in these, which I think a lot is caused by the ostracization and the segregation of crippled brothers and sisters with able-bodied brothers and sisters. You'll see a recurring pattern that it tends to happen within certain time frames, usually along the lines of adolescence.
Yes. And seasonal changes can bring it about also. Like, I know a lot of my friends say they get more depressed during the winter time when there's less sunlight during the day and it's darker for most of the day.
Um, yeah, that's always something that I go through because also I have insane problems with insomnia. I know that if I'm on like a really crazy sleep schedule and I don't see light, I tend to go a little batty, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that I've noticed that's more of an environmental factor of mental health with crippled brothers and sisters is the strain that having a child with any sort of special need has on a family and has on a marriage. A lot of crippled brothers and sisters have divorced parents, and it's not necessarily because of them having a disability, but at a young mind, especially at certain areas, you begin to feel like, oh, my parents got divorced because I was in a wheelchair. I know that I went through that.
I definitely did as well because my parents got divorced right when I started to realize what was going on in the world around me. So that was kind of the first thing I blamed myself for.
Yeah, something that I've really noticed is that a lot of anxiety is built up around the idea of able-bodied people's perceptions of crippled brothers and sisters. I do a lot of informal counseling. I've even had people that watch the show contact us, and they talk about a lot of their struggles with depression, and a lot of it is centered around anxiety about how other people view them. Um, and it's really sad because, for the most part, I don't think able-bodied people are consciously aware of um, crippled brothers and sisters tend to be very intuitive and very perceptive. They observe a lot because often we go unnoticed. And so with that we pick up on nonverbal cues really easily. So even though you might not be expressing distaste or discomfort with disability, it communicates this, which makes a lot of crippled brothers and sisters feel very ostracized, which tends to give itself into isolation, which is one of the main triggers with bouts of depression and anxiety, is this overwhelming sense of isolation and aloneness.
hmm I also feel like most crippled brothers and sisters already have this preconceived idea that able bodied people don't necessarily feel comfortable with them being around. So even the normal curiosity that a person would have may be interpreted as dislike or distaste.
Yeah, it's and it's difficult because able-bodied people aren't to blame. It's really the structures of ableism that I think contribute to these ideas. And also, I don't think ableism is necessarily to blame for all mental health among crippled brothers and sisters either. There's a multitude of very complex factors.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is how best to manage those things, and I think a lot of these things can be addressed through honest and open communication about how you think and feel. A lot of people feel like they can't talk about their discomfort, whether that be a crippled brother or sister talking about their experiences as a crippled brother and sister in an able-bodied world, or as an able-bodied person who just generally wants to talk about their thoughts and feelings. And I think that talking about mental health is a way to bridge the gap of ableism because it's something that everyone is capable of dealing with. Um, Depression and anxiety is an ever-growing problem in our society that really spans the gap of able-bodied and crippled brothers and sisters. So I think that actually talking about our struggles is one of the very best ways to disable ableism.
I would definitely agree because, like CJ just said, it opens the door for honest and open communication and allows people not to understand that they don't have to be afraid to express how they feel just because of how someone might react.
It's it is one of the biggest things that I can really push a crippled brother and sister to do is begin to drop that anxiety and that preconceived notion of what others think and feel. You can't assume what people think and feel all the time. It will lead to a very hurtful and harmful negative thought cycle, which will then only exacerbate your depression and anxiety. So you need to be more open to dialogue and talk about how you feel, think, how you function, and also be willing to really listen to how other people think and feel before you start jumping to conclusions. I know it's difficult. It's something that I struggle with, especially if you're an INFJ, if you have a very intuitive personality type, it's hard because there's sometimes, like 8 out of 10 times, my intuition, I'll tell you, it's pretty dead on. But there's this 2 out of the 10 times where it's way off, and it's really hard for me to like recognize that, and it leads me to trouble.
Mm-hmm. I would also encourage both crippled brothers and sisters and able-bodied people who struggle with mental health just to talk to someone if you are struggling, because people who care about you are there for you and do want to know when you're having problems. You don't have to be ashamed of it.
It was very hard for me to really seek out help. I mean, I kind of covertly sought out help minimally during my school years, and I didn't go into any legitimate psychological counseling until after my second suicide attempt. I had a bit of a mental breakdown a few years back and finally sought help. Luckily, I've been able to manage my bipolar disorder without going on any meds, but if you have to go on meds to function, don't feel ashamed about it. Also, be willing to make healthy life choices. Be willing to get out of bed, establish a daily routine. Even if you don't get out of the house very much, just small things like making sure you shower every day, making sure you change your clothes every day, you brush your teeth. A daily routine dramatically helps your quality of life. Also, once again, seek out professional help if need be. If you're struggling with suicide, there are suicide prevention lines. There's a multitude of organizations. There's To Write Love on Her Arms, which is a very popular organization that deals with these issues. You can contact them online. They do a lot of concerts. They raise a lot of awareness. That would be a very probably good avenue for a lot of young people to seek out help. Anything else, Ron?
Just seek out help and don't give up hope, because there is a way out if you are struggling.
Absolutely. One of the kind of things that I've put in my life, which if you watch any of my personal videos on this YouTube channel that don't deal with cerebral conversations, I always talk about this idea that I came across a few years back, which is the idea that love will not be defeated. And I think that goes along the lines of my struggle to keep mentally and emotionally healthy, is to realize that there's going to be times where I fail, but the love that I feel and the love that I receive will not be defeated. So, Ron, speaking of love,
yes,
we have a new series that we're going to unveil.
Yes.
It's about love, sex,
and dating.
Oh, dang!
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to be talking about LOVE, love, on Cerebral Conversations. Get ready. And guess what? We're going to interview my girlfriend in a couple weeks.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang! That's right. We're going to be talking about love, we're going to be talking about sex, and we're going to be talking about dating. So get ready. The next few episodes will probably be what you've never expected to come out of our mouths.
A little steamy, I'm sure.
So, with that, we are going to end episode 18, and we want to let you know that you can contact us with your feedback and stories, or if you want to just tell us that the show matters to you, you can contact us at cerebralconversations@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, which is facebook.com/cerebralconversations. Did you know that we're on Twitter?
I did know we're on Twitter.
We have a Twitter handle. It is @CerebralConvos. So with that, everybody, keep it cerebral.
Peace.